You're looking for the perfect winter sealant, which means something that's very resistant, lasts a long time, and can handle low temperatures and road salt well in. But here's the thing. You missed the last few warm days in autumn when you could have applied your favorite sealant, and now it's already winter, it's freezing cold, and that's why many sealants are reaching their limits. You can forget about ceramic sealants in these temperatures. Paste waxes also become tricky to work with. So the question is, what can I do besides going to a self-service car wash and using a wet sealant? Because wet sealants are cool, but they usually don't last as long. In this video, I want to introduce you to a sealant that is more suitable as a winter sealant than almost any other. And that is the Soft99 Fusso Coat F. The Fusso Coat F from the Japanese manufacturer Soft99 comes in this 300 ml bottle, which costs around $20. Sometimes it's available at a promotional price, so it costs a little less. So that's about the price you need to pay. Some call it a Teflon or PTFE sealant, some refer to it as a polymer sealant, and others call it liquid wax. But that's all irrelevant. Those are just names. What it really is a damn good sealant, or rather, it's also a winter sealant. Let's take a look at why that is. The reason why the F is so well suited as a winter sealant has to do with the composition of the ingredients. I would go so far as to say that it mainly has to do with the solvents. Many sealants fail at low temperatures due to slow evaporation. Ceramic sealants may not apply well in cold, damp conditions, causing, especially with ceramic sealants, the application is not the problem, but when it gets cold and damp overnight while the ceramic is supposed to harden, moisture forms on parts. This can disrupt the hardening of the ceramic. Here, it evaporates cleanly even at low temperatures, as advertised by Soft99. In terms of ingredients, there are safer products, but many alternatives are available. We don't have these problems here because it ventilates cleanly even at low temperatures, which Soft90, i.e. the manufacturer itself, also advertises as a product feature here. In terms of ingredients, it must be said that there are safer products, but there are many alternatives available. For example, a Sonax polymer net shield, Dodo Juice iron gloss, or liquid waxes like the Surfaces hybrid cream wax don't handle low temperatures as well as this one. And sometimes that's just how it is. We have to live with some more questionable ingredients if we want something that's easy and effective to work with in winter. That's why I would recommend you at least wear gloves. And sometimes that's just how it is. We have to live with some more questionable ingredients if we want something that's easy and effective to work with in winter. That's why I would recommend you to at least wear gloves. You can also consider using a respirator if you're working outside, like I am right now. In that case, I would say you can do it relatively safely even without a respirator. All right, we've prepared the car because just like with the F, the better you prepare the car for a sealant, the longer and better it will work and last. That means washing the car, ideally polishing it, but that's not absolutely necessary. At least degreasing it again. And now we can start with the application. I have two different microfiber cloths here, one with short fibers and one with long fibers. I'll show you why I have two. And I have a microfiber applicator here. For all products, it's still important to shake well before using. And then we start with the application. It does come with a yellow foam applicator with the F. I personally just prefer the microfiber applicators, but it would also work with the included yellow applicator in principle. The first time, soak it a bit properly, and then you can start. You can spread it in straight lines like I'm doing now, but you can also apply it in circular motions. The lint coat doesn't really matter that much. We're going to apply this on the car in a crosshatch pattern, not in circular motions. So first from top to bottom and then left to right. For plastics like here or here, I would skip them with the Soft99 Fusso Coat F because you'll see in a moment that it tends to chalk up while it evaporates, leaving a whitish residue, which isn't a problem on the paint. So first from top to bottom and then again from left to right. I would avoid using Soft99 Fusso Coat F on plastics like this or this, because you will see straight away that it chalks up during the drying process and forms a whitish residue, which is not a problem on the paint. Personally, I would tell you that I wouldn't necessarily use it on plastics. If you really want to, you can of course try it out, but I won't recommend it. You can easily treat headlight lenses as well. You can treat high gloss black plastic parts, chrome parts, and even wraps. And PPF paint protection films work just fine with the FE. And using this method, we're going to do the whole car. So you see, it's really nothing difficult. It's absolutely not rocket science. If you see a spot while wiping off later where you might have just used too much and streaks are forming, you can easily add a bit more product to the applicator and go over that spot again. The product kind of actually reactivates itself, so it's indeed very forgiving in that sense. It definitely doesn't have a pleasant smell. It has a slight smell of solvents, but every product has compromises. With the Fusso Coat F, we get a product that works well in winter, is durable and hydrophobic, but it's not one that brings a pleasant scent. The drying times are clearly stated on the back of the bottle. With the Fusso Coat F, we get a product that works very well in winter, is very durable and very hydrophobic, but it's not one that brings a pleasant scent. The drying times are clearly stated on the back of the bottle. In summer, 5 to 10 minutes. In winter, 15 to 20 minutes. So you definitely have enough time to do several parts, or even the whole car, if it's small enough, like this Mini here. I believe I can get around the whole car before the 20 minutes are up, and then I can start wiping it off. Glass. I would say yes to the glass roof, side windows and rear window. I wouldn't apply it on the windshield. The same manufacturer, Soft, has significantly better products in their range, like for example, the Glarco Roll-On, the Glaco D, or the Glarco Ultra. Feel free to take a look around the channel. We've already made some videos about the products, so if you really want a glass sealant on the windshield, there are better products available. Films, rather. As for partial wraps, full wraps, design films, whether glossy or matte, and also PPF, you can easily do that with the Fusso Coat F, SOS, EOS. So now I've gotten a bit on the plastic here, so I'll have to check that later. But as I said, films are absolutely no problem. And that's one of the advantages of the Soft99 Fusso Coat F, that it's very versatile and works really well on a lot of different surfaces. We have a partial wrap here on the roof rail, for example. This here is a satin matte film, and the glossy black is paint. A partial wrap. This here is a satin matte film, and the glossy black is paint. And now we're going to go over this with the Fusso Coat F, and you'll see that there's a very slight color refresh happening, meaning a darkening effect. And afterwards, when we wipe it down, you'll see that the gloss level of the satin matte films here hasn't changed at all. How much of the Fusso Coat F do you use? And afterwards, when we wipe it down, you'll see that the gloss level of the satin matte films here hasn't changed at all. How much of the Fusso Coat F do you use? Basically, of course, it depends a bit on how big the car is, not just a bit, it really depends a lot on the size of the car and how much you use. A 300 ml bottle covers 3 cars. After curing, a whitish grey film forms on the paint. But in my experience, the 300 ml bottle is enough for at least 3 cars, if not up to 5 cars or even more. After the mentioned 15 to 20 minutes of curing time in winter at low temperatures, you can see that a slightly whitish, grayish film has formed over the paint. And that's one of the good features, in my personal opinion, of the Soft99 Fusso Coat F, because you can see very clearly where you've applied the sealant. You can see very clearly where you still have overlaps and where you need to wipe down afterwards. And you would also see the residues very clearly on white, silver, or grey cars, which can be relatively difficult with such paint colors. And now, as mentioned before, the 2 cloths come into play. You use the short pile cloth, the one with the shorter fibers, to remove the initial rough edges of the sealant. You'll notice that you only need to wipe over it a few times. And that's one of the really great features of this product here. It's actually quite easy to remove. If for any reason you've waited too long, meaning it's been on for too long and you notice that it's really tough to remove, then as mentioned before, just apply a bit more of the product to the applicator. Wipe over the area again, wait another 10 to 15 minutes, this time a little less than before, and then you can wipe it down again. So as I said, it's also very forgiving. Once you've gone over it with the short pile cloth, take the long pile cloth and wipe again to really remove the last residues. Use short then long cloth. F is smooth. Once you've gone over it with the short pile cloth, take the long pile cloth and wipe again to really remove the last residues. And you'll notice that the F is incredibly smooth. It really brings a beautifully smooth finish to the paint. And you'll notice that the F is incredibly smooth. So it really brings a beautifully smooth finish to the paint. I'll show it to you again from this perspective. You can see it a bit better. Here, all these slightly white residues. With the short pile cloth, wipe over it once, and as soon as you've removed the rough excess of the sealant, take the long pile cloth, wipe again, and you're done. And that's the nice thing about the F. It's not just a sealant that's great for winter because it handles low temperatures very well, but as you can see, it's also a sealant that can be applied relatively quickly. None of us want to stand outside for hours in very low temperatures working on our cars. And that's why this special property of the F comes into play. Attention, maybe a note here. F also has its limits. That means when it's really cold, when we're talking about 0 degrees or even less, personally would say that it definitely doesn't make sense to apply any sealant at that point. Then the F will also start to have problems. And then I personally would, if you absolutely can't help it, rather drive to the self-service car wash, wash the car with warm water, and there, for example, use a wet sealant. You can see that even after the curing, the satin finish films are already satin finish again. And once we've wiped over it again, we have exactly the same look as before, which is high gloss black and satin. As you will see, shortly, the Soft99 Fusso Coat F is extremely hydrophobic. This means it has a beading behavior that in 2021 is unmatched by any other sealant available on the market. But that also means you need to wash the cloths you use for removal properly afterwards. And no, a simple household detergent won't get the sealant residues out of the cloths. You should definitely use a good microfiber detergent. We've linked some effective microfiber detergents in the video description. Use one if you're getting the F, as it helps remove sealant residues from cloths. Wash cloths soon after use to avoid residue buildup. Now, let's explore the extreme hydrophobicity the F creates. And don't let the cloths sit around for weeks before washing them. Wash the cloths more or less right after you're done using them. Now we've been talking about the extreme hydrophobicity that the F creates, so I suggest we take a look at it together right now. And now you know everything there is to know about the Soft Fuso Coat F and why we think it's such a fantastic winter sealant. It can be easily applied even at low temperatures, which isn't the case with many other sealants, and it provides an incredibly smooth paint finish along with extremely strong hydrophobic properties. This means that the self-cleaning effect in winter will also be quite good. And it offers a very high resistance, especially chemical resistance, but also temperature resistance. So at the low temperatures in winter, it will work really, really well. As I said, it comes with the downside of not so harmless ingredients, but we believe here on this channel that you're old enough. Each of you can download the safety data sheet and take a look at it, and then you can decide for yourselves which products you want to use and which ones you don't. If you found the video helpful, informative, exciting, and interesting, feel free to give us a thumbs up, support the channel with a free subscription, and tune in for the next video. Hello?